Are you gonna slay it?
First off, I always slay it, queen.
Rick and Morty Season 4 makes a point of tearing down the myth of Rick.
Why don't you admit you don't want anyone else to be happy because you're a sad old fart?
How do you saddle a fart?
This character has always been presented as a narcissistic, toxic person, but that hasn't prevented a lot of viewers from seeing the smartest guy in the universe as a role model. This season deliberately discourages the temptation to glorify the guy or give him credit for more noble motivations than he's actually shown.
Morty, you know, pal, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah, I guess. Thanks for staying positive about my prospects, Rick.
The fourth season is an intentional return to the self-contained reset button style episodes of the first season.
In many ways, things will be like Season 1, but more streamlined.
And if you weren't looking too closely, you might be tempted to say overarching character or plot development has been lacking entirely. What we're really seeing, though, is creators Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon doing some important recentering. First, by bringing us back to Earth in our estimations of Rick, and second, by sending some meta messages to fans.
Maybe it's time you stopped asking questions and started having fun.
Given that this show secured a 70-episode deal after Season 3, it's important for Rick and Morty to pave the way for a sustainable future by managing unrealistic expectations and avoiding the fandom traps that can swallow up beloved TV shows in our day and age. Here's our take on the deeper meaning of the first half of Season 4.
You son of a bitch! I'm in!
This video is brought to you by Brilliant, a problem-solving website that makes math and science part of a fun and interactive learning experience. Brilliant offers courses on astronomy, programming, everyday physics, and so much more. Click the link in the description below, brilliant.org/thetake, to sign up for a free account now. The first 200 people that go to the link will get 20% off an annual premium subscription.
Rick Sanchez, everyone. Smartest man in the universe.
This season consciously shuts down those fans who want to be like Rick.
Grandpa, do something, or I will tweet and you will be canceled.
The second episode, The Old Man and the Seat, centers on Rick's paranoid protectiveness over his secret pooping spot. And as Michael Walsh wrote for Nerdist, the episode is an unflinching reminder Rick Sanchez is not a hero anyone should be trying to emulate.
You need a friend.
I have a million cooler friends than you.
I'll be seeing you.
You'll be dying.
We're gonna be friends.
You're gonna be dead.
Often it can be hard not to admire Rick's ingenuity, even when his behavior's obviously unhealthy.
I'm a pickle.
Rick, did you do this on purpose to get out of family counseling?
Here, though, Rick's threatening nearly 500,000 fly kids
You have 470,000 messages.
as leverage to track down Tony, the guy who used his toilet, doesn't come off as somehow cool or above everyone else's heads. It's just weird and sad.
You know what shy pooping is, Rick? It's a pointless bid for control.
Tony also understands what it is to suffer loss and pushes Rick to face his inner pathologies.
You want to take the one part of life that you truly think is yours and you want to protect it from a universe that takes whatever it wants. It took my wife. It clearly took something from you.
But Rick resists opening up to his new friend until it's too late.
Tony died.
Jesus, I gotta process this.
The episode ends with Rick failing to make progress and retreating into his insular habits. As we leave him alone on his toilet, his pre-recorded message for Tony gets turned back on Rick, ironically reflecting his own secret self-hatred and low opinion of himself.
All hail His Majesty, the saddest piece of garbage in the entire cosmos.
The truth is that the smartest guy in the universe thinks Rick is a piece of shit.
You're a huge piece of shit.
After the family turns on him at the end of Season 3, Rick is facing a humbled position in the Smith household in the Season 4 premiere, Edge of Tomorty, Rick Die Repeat.
Dad, there's a way we do this now.
Morty, would you please accompany me to Forbodulon Prime for death crystals?
Well, thank you for asking.
There's a much greater threat to Rick's status as patriarch, though, and that's time. Rick is being confronted with reminders that, eventually, Morty will have to grow up. In this season, we're seeing Morty assert independence like never before. The first episode centers on Morty displaying an exaggerated version of typical teen behavior, rebelling against the instructions of his elders.
Why would you steal a death crystal?
I want to die old.
Then stop driving. You son of a bitch. Give me the wheel, Morty. God damn it.
And putting a chance to get with the hot girl he likes over absolutely everything else.
Jessica. I want to die with Jessica.
Then, in episode 3, One Crew Over the Cuckoo's Morty is devoting himself to his creative interests and professional ambitions.
Netflix is pretty interested, and I've actually got a pitch meeting there today at 3:30.
At times, the show has emphasized genius Rick's great cosmic perspective. But here we see he's very much not cool with his teenage grandson having any interests outside of him.
Morty's still working on that stupid heist script. Skipped out on the last 3 adventures.
He responds in the most poisonous, selfish, juvenile way possible by sabotaging his grandson. The heist-style episode ends with a big reveal.
Man, it's as if someone stole his enthusiasm for his own idea.
Yeah, without him even knowing about it.
And this twist actually is shocking because it explicitly casts Rick as a villain. For much of the series, it's easy to romanticize Rick's special bond with Morty and see the old man as a generous teacher. Sure, he's taking Morty out of school and risking his life, but this is in service of a real education.
You think you're gonna see that kind of thing at school? Look at it just lumbering around. It doesn't even... It defies all logic, that thing.
Yet in episode 3, while Rick's been acting like the supportive mentor,
Morty, I'm so excited for you. Are you kidding me? Let's go. We can put the Earth back later, all right?
Are you sure?
Priorities, Morty. Let's get you to that Netflix meeting.
he's been actively working to undermine Morty's goals.
I don't know. 5 of my friends got Netflix deals.
What?
It's a very achievable goal. You could lose him.
I'm not gonna lose him. That. I'm gonna nip this shit in the bud.
And since, given his demotion in the family status, he lacks the power to directly take Morty's dreams away from him,
You're not nipping anything in the bud. If Morty ever gives up on a single dream, it had better be because of his own disillusionment.
he resorts to doing something far more terrible, making a young boy feel disenchantment with what he's most excited and passionate about.
You know, you gotta help my grandson follow his dreams.
Who needs dreams?
So, whereas episode 2 left us feeling that Rick was sad, episode 3 proves that Rick is not a good person. His loneliness and desperate desire for companionship make him willing to crush the spirit of the person he loves most, just to keep him by his side.
I'll just hang out with you and go on adventures and do whatever you want to do, forever.
Oh, well, okay. I mean, if that's what you want.
Episode 4, Claw and Hoarder, Special Rickdom's Morty, continues this spotlight on Rick's bad behavior when Rick soul bonds with Morty's dragon, an act equal to cheating with someone's spouse.
Why does it feel better now? Oh, I hope it's not because you're watching, but don't go anywhere.
Did you find them?
We followed the smell of sulfur and skankery.
Episode 4 explicitly compares Rick's character to a dragon.
You're small for a dragon, Rick.
He's a majestic yet monstrous creature who's both misunderstood and mythologized.
Then there will be sayings about you. Your lessers will hunt you down, and you will be owned or slain.
That's why they call it a dying breed, brother.
Drawing a parallel between Rick and Daenerys Targaryen is counterintuitive but apt. Both possess an incredible power. They attack traditions they don't believe in.
I told the both of you school is stupid. It's not how you learn things.
And they feel like they know better than everyone else.
Because I know what is good.
What about everyone else?
They don't get to choose.
Daenerys' dragon nature ultimately led her down a dark path. And this again reinforces the season's message that Rick is, though exceptional, disturbed, problematic, maybe even doomed.
If there's ever a saying about me, I'll fly into the sun.
In spite of all that, one especially poignant moment in this episode encapsulates why it's difficult not to feel some affection for this sick, cruel genius. When he spares Jerry the memory of knowing whatever the talking cat's story is,
someone has to remember.
Someone will.
Rick takes on the burden of this terrible knowledge so the rest of us don't have to. In the mid-season finale, Rattlestar Ricklactica, Rick regains some of our respect as he's back to cleaning up his family's messes. Nothing good comes out of Morty's guilt-infused good intentions.
I helped them! You gave them proof that there was something bigger and scarier to unite against, you little idiot!
Or Jerry's pitiful determination to prove his manhood.
Hey, guess what, asshole? I did it without you.
Oh, God, it hurts!
Yet while Rick may be right and smarter than everyone, he also let all this happen by being a characteristically hands-off, neglectful mentor.
I can tell you're pretty upset about the whole snake encounter thing, so I'll tell you what. I'm just gonna go ahead and avoid you for the rest of the day.
Rick has the insight and ego of a god, as he reminds us in an early line.
I wasn't born into the god business. I f***ing earned it.
But all this power seems to bring with it very little sense of responsibility. And the less than inspirational moral Rick's Christmas episode leaves us with is, stay out of it. Don't get involved.
Morty, next time stay in the car.
So Rick's not only not a hero himself, his warning to us is also don't be a hero.
Next time stay in the car!
When you look at all these episodes together, the show is going out of its way to keep Rick's failings front and center. This guy is not an ideal we should aspire to, and he might not even really be able to teach us anything.
There's a lesson here, and I'm not the one that's gonna figure it out.
The second pattern we're seeing in this season is creators Roiland and Harmon telling viewers essentially to calm down. After Rick and Morty blew up to such stratospheric popularity that a Szechuan sauce promotion wreaked havoc at McDonald's and YouTube was overflowing with evil Morty theories, this season seems to be trying to cool rather than fuel the hype. It hasn't picked up many of the serialized story threads left hanging at the end of season 3.
Am I the clone?
So why does Rick and Morty seem to want to discourage fan mania and obsessiveness? The dragon-centered fantasy episode alludes to one very good answer: the cautionary tale of the Game of Thrones Season 8 backlash.
I want my dragon! I want my dragon! I want my dragon!
Where are my dragons?
While there were plenty of valid reasons to criticize Game of Thrones' final season, the overwhelming animosity directed at the show also came out of excessive fan expectations and a widespread attachment to, often outlandish, fan theories.
Dad, did you promise Morty a dragon?
Harmon commented on the phenomenon, quote, "I'm not going to say fans are too cynical and ungrateful, but I guess I did just say that." We get the distinct sense that the Rick and Morty creators are actively bursting the bubble of their viewers' unrealistic expectations. In this same Game of Thrones-esque episode, the writers troll the fan theory element of their fandom with the mysterious talking cat who manipulates Jerry.
I'm a talking cat, but who cares why is my point.
A crucial aspect of Rick and Morty's storytelling style is not filling in all the blanks and in-betweens, sometimes skipping from A to Z or starting from Y.
Guys, if I can interrupt, we're way ahead of the reveal here.
With its countless off-screen adventures, Rick and Morty has a brilliant understanding of the jazz adage, "It's the notes you don't play."
That was seriously up.
The episode's pointed refusal to answer the question of why the cat can talk sends the message, sometimes obsessively overcomplicating every detail sucks the fun out of a story.
Look, you're overthinking it. The point of a talking cat is to have fun.
I find the insinuation that I can't ask questions and have fun condescending.
The showrunners are reminding us that they won't resolve all the mysteries they create, and they aren't obligated to give fans anything they demand.
We're out of Florida, you overthinking cat.
In fact, as countless examples have proven over the years, refusing to engage in fan service is an important aspect of creating a quality show, even under intense scrutiny and pressure. The creators have also trolled those entitled or bigoted fans who've appropriated Rick and Morty for agendas that don't represent the show's true spirit. Referring to the harassment of female writers and complaints of too much focus on female characters, Harmon said, "These knobs that want to protect the content they think they own, and somehow combine that with their need to be proud of something they have, which is often only their race or gender." The Season 4 premiere explicitly registers its disapproval of some of the message boards that the show has featured on.
And drop the Hitler stuff. Wasp Morty's been on some crazy message boards.
And it even makes a point of clarifying that Rick does not approve of Nazis, while expressing how crazy it is that this has to be clarified.
Honestly, you're doing me a huge favor by being shrimp instead of fascists. What? God damn it, when did this shit become the default?
Fascist Morty stands in for those worst fans the show is disowning.
He was too political. I want to have fun, classic Rick and Morty adventures like in the old days.
Characteristically, the show also comments on itself and debates how to shape its identity going forward. The premiere rejects pressures to stop being so meta or be stuck doing one particular thing.
Stop doing meta commentary. Just have fun. We're going on a simple, fun, classic adventure.
When Rick says,
I think you have to think ahead and live in the moment.
This refers to the show's two different versions of itself, the more dramatic, continuous arc, social commentary-laden style of the Ricklantis mix-up versus the resetting, freewheeling randomness of the episode right after that one, Morty's Mind Blowers. The show concludes that it's going to do some of both styles.
So I guess what we learned is to split the diff.
From now on, Rick and Morty doing a little of this and a little of that.
Without committing to anything, and reserving the right to change its mind at any moment.
Sometimes we'll do classic stuff, other times we'll do whatever.
Sometimes we won't even do anything.
In addition to these larger patterns we're seeing, each episode of Season 4 riffs on a distinct genre or cultural phenomenon.
Do you want to develop an
No
app?
thanks.
Rick, why does it say do not develop my app on your intern's forehead?
Why, you want to develop one?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that, Jerry. It's so you don't develop his app.
Episode 1 channels Akira's cyberpunk spirit of disaffected youth in our day and age. Episode 2 makes fun of the tech industry's obsession with solving middle-class inconveniences, which results in a plethora of food delivery and ride-sharing services, but few people tackling the crises that threaten our very existence.
Had you bothered to master love, you would have learned by now it is as abundant as water. You know what isn't? Water. That runs out.
Episode 3 is a classic example of Rick and Morty's love for parodying genres.
Your skills are required for a job.
No, they aren't. You son of a bitch, I'm in.
And for all that it claims to hate the heist genre it's sending up, the episode has lots of fun with the format. As Steve Green writes for IndieWire, much like many other rants that fuel episodes of Rick and Morty, it's rage that somehow morphs into an appreciation of the thing someone hates.
A heist artist, aka a hipster dick whose adventures are 60% putting a crew together and 40% revealing that the robbery already happened and he's not worth our time because he's a hack piece of
Episode 4 implies that the fantasy genre, and especially the Game of Thrones obsession, is driven by sexual undertones, playing on the fact that Daenerys Targaryen is one of the biggest sex symbols of our times, thanks to the symbolic steaminess of her fire and dragons.
We are the slut dragons.
The episode also gestures at how, at its best, Game of Thrones was really about power dynamics and exploitation.
I started all this when I tried to control Balthrama, and that was up. Nobody should control anyone.
Episode 5 sets itself up like a Christmas episode, but it's only Jerry's plot that aspires to be a Die-Hard style holiday movie meets action flick.
Merry Christmas, bitch. I am the Jesus Christ of Christmas!
And the episode implies that, at its core, this kind of story is all about insecure manhood.
Look, I want to be a strong man for you.
Meanwhile, Rick's disdain for the holiday
Don't train your child to lie, Jerry, even though, 'tis the season.
is mirrored in a holiday-indifferent main plot about space snakes. Aside from the odd throwaway joke, this is the first time Rick and Morty does time travel. We discussed why Rick and Morty puts time travel literally on the shelf in another recent video. The episode uses snakes to compare the circularity of time travel plots to the Ouroboros.
We're removing ourselves from this sloppy f***ed up story and letting snake time travel eat its own tail.
But even though the takeaway is that time travel is dumb,
That's about as much curvature as you're gonna get from a time travel story.
just as with the heist episode, Rattlestar Galactica has lots of fun playing on Terminator,
The survivors lived only to face a new nightmare. The war between snake and machine.
Back to the Future, 2001: A Space Odyssey,
You're using tools now, huh? Those tools gonna turn into you manipulating the fabric of shit. Get over here, motherfucker.
plus the cliched desires to go back to save Lincoln and kill Hitler. And the wordless sequence of Snake World meeting an alien python from Earth is some of the most hypnotic and gloriously weird storytelling of the season. The first half of the season may have disappointed fans who were counting on any specific preconception of Rick and Morty, but that's the point. The creators are taking back their show and setting up a sustainable runway for it to become The Simpsons of a future era, doing whatever the hell it feels like for a long time to come.
Trying different things,
But
making
then also
sure to
pushing
keep
it
out of a
anywhere
rut,
not near the
doing
limit
stuff,
at all.
Sometimes not
even
doing
push
stuff.
a little bit towards the limit.
This video is brought to you by Brilliant. One of our goals here at The Take is to inspire our viewers to think critically about the movies and shows they watch. We love Brilliant because they share that mission of helping you to hone your analytical skills. Their online puzzles, problems, and courses will stimulate your mind and help you become a math and science whiz. Take their logic course. You can tease your brain with riddles, test your knowledge of logical fallacies, and even learn some strategic game theory. All you have to do is click the link in the description below, brilliant.org/thetake, to sign up for free. And if you're one of the first 200 people to click the link, you'll get 20% off an annual premium subscription.